Hello everybody, my name is Will and welcome back to Sprocket. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of a staple of this channel. This is something we've done in pretty much every single version of Sprocket, and this version I'm determined to make absolutely no exception for. Previously, I've been provided with blueprints for these railgun cannons, and today, I've found my own. So, we're going to be making our own railgun cannon today. It's not quite as insane as the last version's railgun cannon, because the last one was like 12 meters long, the shell. Unfortunately, that's not very practical in geometric internals, but I have found one that's still quite long, but not quite that long. So, without further ado, we'll just get right into the building. So, yeah, we're gonna go for something super modern today. It doesn't really make much sense to put a massive railgun on like a light tank from World War II, as amusing as that would be. Unfortunately, in geometric internals, we now have to deal with the physical constraints of our weapon. So the length of the shell now dictates how short our turret can be. So, yeah, if you want to pull off this little trick, which is to say, going into your files after you save your tank, finding the tank that you've designed, finding the specific cannon, and increasing the length of the cannon to this specific ratio. I think it's like a 2mm gun goes to 402mm shell propellant or something along those lines. So the bigger the gun, the longer your tank is going to have to be. Previously, we got a tank with a 29mm gun, which had a penetration value of about 790,000 millimeters of armor, which is it's quite a lot. Set your sights a little bit lower today, because that gun is 21 meters of shell propellant. 21 meters. That's quite significant. That gun is not going to fit in the tank that we designed today, but what will fit in the tank that we designed today is a much smaller rail cannon, like the one that we put on our... we put it on a tankette, I think, at one point in time. But obviously that cannon back then was allowed to be poured in as a liquid into the tank, so it did actually fit. Yeah. Generally, I've tried to go with the vibes of this thing for futuristic. I'm going for automated turret kind of deal. Realistically, our tank still has people in it because you need to have people in, but something that I haven't really stressed about today was the logical internal placement of everything inside the tank, just because it's not really going to be logical at any point in time. It is just an insane tank with an insane gun, so we may as well just lean into it and make every aspect of it insane. But yeah, it is what it is. And you may also notice that we are on the Dunes map, which we have not seen in an extremely long time on this channel. It's a little bit nostalgic, actually, coming back to the Dunes map, because we haven't had it since 0.2 released. It's been a very long time. This update also brought about backwards compatibility, and my great idea was to design a new tank based off the hull of a tank that I made like 3 years ago now. I started playing this game on YouTube, but unfortunately, not only are tanks from that far back incompatible with this version of the game, so I'd kind of have to go back to a more recent version, update the tanks from that really old version to that more recent version, and then save them and bring them into the new version of the game. I also realized that that doesn't actually make a very entertaining video. There's not a lot to show from just fixing an existing hull and fixing an existing turret. So instead, we have this as a bit of a backup vehicle that we're throwing in at the last moment. So hopefully you don't mind. If you do want to see me build up one of those old tanks into something that works in geometric internals, then do let me know. That's what the comment section is for. That's also what the suggestions channel in my Discord, link in the description, is for. And yeah, I do read literally every single suggestion, and contrary to a lot of people's beliefs, every single comment. So if you do leave a suggestion and I don't read it, don't end up doing it, it's not that I didn't read it, it's just that it's bad. So there you go. You can take that one home and butter it. What does that even mean? I've come up with a brand new phrase there. Can everybody start using that? Okay? Legally, everybody who watched this video up until that point, now, in the comment section below, say, wow, you really took that home and buttered it. Did I just change what it was? I don't know. I can't even remember. We're going to move swiftly on, because if anybody... Yeah, you know what? Let's just not worry about it anymore. That's the first and last time you'll ever hear that saying, is all I'm saying. Oh, I said saying too many times in one sentence, and now that's just thrown me for a complete loop. I had chocolate before this recording. I know that sounds like an absolute crazy tangent, and it is, but chocolate is like the worst thing you can have for your voice before you have to do like a long bit of voice recording, and this is a long bit of voice recording, so I shouldn't have had that. It's about this point in the recording that I'm starting to feel the regret from that decision. You know, I could pause and I could do this in multiple takes, or I could just keep going like I always do, because I don't know, I guess that's my brand at this point. If you had to describe my channel to somebody else, how would you describe this? Because I don't think that would be a particularly easy thing to describe. Yeah, I watched this guy who, he plays a game where you design tanks, and occasionally he talks about his cat, chocolate, and maybe things like his monitor breaking in between this video and the last one, and him having to get a new one in the meantime, which I've not just made up on the spot. I've got a 4K monitor now. I was running 1080p before. The videos are recorded in 1080p still, so for you, the videos are going to be exactly the same. However, I'm playing Sprocket in 4K, and boy does it look good. However, as you can see from the bottom right, my frame rate is not a huge fan of it. That's a perfectly reasonable frame rate, but I used to be getting quite a lot more than that, so yeah. Okay, so this is where we're up to with the hull at the moment. As you can see, there's still quite a lot left to do on here, but I don't want to spend too long fiddling with it at risk of making it basically impossible to work with. So we're going to kind of leave it here, and I think we're going to start on the turret, try and get an idea of what kind of a shape we're going to be going for. Obviously, this thing is quite modern, so fingers crossed we can get something that looks kind of maybe leopardy. I don't know. We'll see what we come up with. So one of my big inspirations, actually, on the topic of calling it leopardy, is the leopard unmanned turret prototype. Was something that I was looking at quite a lot while I was designing this. It was designed by, I think it's like KNDS is what I read, and that is, yeah, basically Leopard 2 with some skin on it, which makes the gun mount on a big old pivoting turret oscillating thing almost, which is, if you've seen the thumbnail, something that I do with this tank. do yeah, but it's not too much like a leopard, to be entirely honest. I've sent this to a couple of people just because whenever I do design some of these, ironically, okay, here's my guilty admission if you're one of the people that I send these tanks to. I'm using you to store my thumbnails. I just send them to someone on Discord, 1, to get their opinions on the tank, and 2, it's a place where I can later come back and get that picture if I want to use it for a thumbnail. So there's my guilty admission. You are not just getting free pictures of my tanks early. You're paying me in convenience. There we go. English language is not one of my fortes, despite the fact that I was born here and live here. You'd think it would be, really, based on those, like, parameters, but as much as I don't understand French, I don't understand much German, I don't understand English either, so truly quite an incredible linguist I am. But anyway, talking about that big old oscillating turret automated thing that's going on now, and that's kind of why this turret is so chunky wide on the mantlet level. I did have somebody saying, oh, well, it should be narrow to have a minimum armor weak spot, but in this kind of a situation with an automated turret, is it that much of a problem to have more armor around it? I don't know. I really don't. Probably still is. I don't know. The wide mantlet looks cooler, so that's why we've got the wide mantlet here. And you're about to see probably one of the most embarrassing things that I've ever done in any of these. Look at this perfect spot I made for the gunner's sight, because I knew, and I was thinking at this moment in time, I'm going to need a gunner's sight. So I designed in a perfect spot for the gunner sight, and notice what I haven't placed on it. Yep, that won't change for the rest of this time lapse. Please go easy on me in the comments, man. I'm not very, like, it's not like I've played a lot of Sprocket. It's not like I've been playing the game since like a couple of weeks after it came out on Steam. I don't even think it was that long. I think I got it day one. I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure I designed 4 tanks on day one. So there's not much of an excuse for me, I can't lie. However, I would like to say I would like to say, but you can always disagree with me, that my tanks look a little bit better than they did back then. Okay, I need to, before I say this, if you don't mind excessive swearing in videos, go back and have a look at some of my really, really old videos back from like 2-3 years ago and just compare and contrast where we're at now. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, as I was when I was like, hey, what are my old videos like, at the improvement in my building. Because it's not something that I've really clocked at any point. Here's me putting on a little automated machine gun on the top. There's also a gun shield and then a cupola that I put behind it, just so that it could also be a manual gun, but I wanted to design it to look like it is capable of being an automated gun as well. So hopefully that fits the vibe that I was going for. You can let me know that one in the comment section below, why not? But yeah, in my really old videos, it's not something that I do very often at the moment. I've very, very occasionally let a swear word out in one of these videos. It is not something that I do particularly often at the moment, because I don't know, it doesn't really fit the vibe of what I'm going for. So I just kind of stopped at one day, and I don't really know why. But if you go back to those old videos, I definitely didn't have stopped. That was not even close to English. I'm not doing a particularly good job in talking today. You know who is doing a very good job in talking today? My cat. What did I say earlier? Goes on tangents about his cat and how he needs to buy monitors. Something along those lines. Anyway, the cat today, good lord, very loud. That's the entire point that I wanted to raise. We're going to move on to the next topic now. And that next topic is in my hand over here, which you can probably hear the crinkling. I don't know why I wanted you to hear the crinkling. It was probably somewhat unpleasant for you. I've got, sent from YouTube High Five, which, let me just clarify, is not some kind of super exclusive fancy club. I only have just under 30,000 subscribers at the time of recording this, which you should fix. If you're not subscribed, you should subscribe. We want to hit 35,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I will play Cursed Tank Simulator on Roblox. There you go. There's my promise. Subscribe now. Make it happen. Okay. Anyway, YouTube High Five. It's like a little rewards system for people who have. I don't really know what the threshold is, because I was I don't want to say early adopter, because that's not really true. I signed up very quickly as soon as the email came through, because they gave me, damn it, they gave me a free Greg sausage roll. How was I meant to say no to something like that? That was incredible. But anyway, now I have a YouTube brick kit, which I posted a picture of in my Discord. I haven't built it yet, hence why it's still crinkling, because Lego doesn't crinkle, if you've ever used Lego before, which I would guess most of you have. But this is such a cool little thing for YouTube to send me, and it was free. I didn't pay a penny for this. I mean, obviously I upload videos on their platform and they get ad revenue from advertisers putting their adverts on my videos, but it's a cool little thing. And yeah, I mean, they keep giving me little food rewards and drink rewards as well. I got some money off Costa. Amazing. Loving it. I don't know if a lot of people are pleased with YouTube right now, because there's a lot of things going on, but here, where my channel is entirely focused on a silly little tank game, I don't have to worry about those problems. And so I'm here with my Lego play button thinking, hey, God, I wish I had a silver play button. That would be way cooler than this Lego play button. Make it happen. Hit the subscribe button. We're only 70,000 subscribers away. Oh, that's a lot of people who have yet to subscribe. There's already a lot of people subscribed. There are some small sovereign states in the world with less than 30,000 people living in them. Granted, not many, but there's a few. We could invade, could we invade Nauru? Is that one that we could do? Population, 12,780. 2-1 against Nauru. We could smash them. Right, invasion of Nauru next week. We're gonna do it. Also, for legal reasons, that's a joke. I'm not actually going to invade Nauru. Also, I don't think I needed to specify that that was a joke, and it might be slightly more suspicious now that I've specified that it was a joke than before when I said that we'd invade Nauru, because it was so unfeasible for me to invade Nauru. But now, the fact that I've even implied that you might think that it's real, and I'm worried about that, might make some heads turn. Anyway, the tank we're designing. Hopefully you're liking how it's looking, because this is pretty much externally what it ends up looking like. I did realize we didn't have any hatches for the driver and the, well, I guess I would say hull gunner, but there's actually no hull gunner in this thing. There is space for a hull gunner, but there's no gun there. So, as you can see here, I put 2 guys in, and then I took one out, because I was like, we don't really need another one down here. We haven't used that space for fuel or ammo, but realistically, we probably would. However, in this case, I guess it's just a passenger seat for if you want to go pick up your mates and make a quick Mackey's trip, you know? And here, you can see how small the caliber of our gun was there for a split second. So I've put on a muzzle brake, which is just the kind of empty barrel muzzle brake, as it allows me to have a normal-sized gap in the end of the gun. Anyway, we're done. So now we're going to go test it. Yeah! So, the eagle-eyed among you may have already realized how much penetration this gun has, but for now, we're going to leave it up to the imagination for those of you who weren't paying that much attention or were just putting this video on in the background as, like an audiobook. But here it is, the aptly named 31, because I haven't named it, and you know it's cool because it's got like a grill, like on a car, except it's not actually a grill, it's probably just got some, like, numbers on it for, like, you know, the production line that it was built on. I don't know. But this thing has quite a bit of armor, as you can see. These lights are a little bit of a weak spot, as I didn't put too much on this back plate. And there's a couple of spots where, you know, there's not actually any armor, but I've not armored these bits just because when you're doing geometric internals, the plates can get pretty confused when you do stuff like that. Ultimately, we're not fighting anything. So, it should be okay. Oh, I seem to have forgotten to armor the mantler as well, which actually, you know what, that might help because we're only 43 tons. And I was wondering why we were so light. It would help that this is all 5mm thick. Yeah, okay, let me add some armor to that real quick. Okay, I mean, we've only gone up to 45 tons, but now we have actual armor on here. 300mm of armor, to be precise. There's a lot of armor on this thing. However, because it also has a big, beefy engine, as you can see, it's pretty nippy, and I do think it looks quite good, especially from this kind of an angle. I think it looks really quite nice. Ooh, that was a good shot. I want to get that back. I feel like that is, I don't know. That looks cool. I like it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. Who knows? Anyway, thumbnail obtained. We're gonna keep on keeping on here. We have a really fast reload. As you can see, it is literally about a second and a half, and that involves swapping a crew member to fire the gun at the moment. I might be able to change it so that you don't need to do that, but honestly, it's not too much of a stress that you have to. In real life, I would imagine this thing would have some automation going on. There's 3 guys in here, which is probably not enough to operate a tank of this size, but obviously, I'm kind of going off the idea that this is 20, 30 years from now, autoloaders have lost their disadvantages. It's got some crazy autoloaders. It's got some automatic aiming systems. It's got all the computers and stuff on inside this bad boy. But yeah, I mean, I'm really, really, really pleased with this. What we'll do, probably, is take this to the flat sandbox, where I believe enemies still spawn in, and we should be able to test if this gun actually works against an enemy. Alright, we're back here in the flat sandbox, which we've had for a very, very long time now, without, you know, without much scenery around here, but that's okay. I've forgotten to put a sight on. I should put a sight on. Hang on. What's funny is I actually put this spot here for the sight, and then just never put the actual sight on it, which is honestly quite an impressive series of things to do. Okay, there we go. Now we can actually see where we're shooting. And fingers crossed, we don't really need to do much aiming. We just kind of point and click. And we have no idea whether we've gone through or not, thanks to the fact that we still don't have damage markers at the corner of the game, because, yeah, that's not a bug. That's a feature now. I feel like I just watched my shot launch into space. I do think we need to maybe correct the fact that a crew member has to swap onto loading. That is a little bit of a problem. Let's see if I can work out a better operation here. Okay, that's a lot better. Now we have a gun that we can reload on the move and keep on aiming. And I'm pretty sure I just hit that guy. Oh! Yep, I definitely hit that guy. It's kind of hard to tell with these kind of guns. Wow. Okay. The gun is quite effective. I really was not expecting it. So, what I haven't shown you yet is the caliber of the gun, unless you are particularly eagle-eyed. As you can see, you might be thinking like, oh, that looks like a normal caliber. That's not the bore of the gun. That is the bore of the gun. This is a 4mm projectile being launched at, let me just get the numbers up to make sure that I'm not incorrect, 89,689 meters per second. And it has a penetration of over 6,000 millimeters of steel. That we've done more insane things, don't get me wrong. But given that this thing is actually fitting in this tank, that's quite ridiculous. Now, obviously, in reality, not very practical. The pressure that is built up inside of this gun would just blow up the world, probably. We're about to cause black holes on the surface of the planet, which is not typically very advantageous for your military campaigns. However, we're here in Sprocket, and once again, we don't care about those kind of things. Now, unfortunately, what I've actually done there is I've respawned and removed the enemy tanks, but I kind of want to have a go on the suspension tester, so I'm just going to have to absolutely delete these guys from existence again. I can't believe it works that well. I really didn't think it would. That's incredible. Okay, I'm a huge fan of how much damage these things are doing, because previously when we've built these tanks, the actual penetration power is normally not that impressive. However, today, yeah, that's pretty good. I want to have a look how we do on the suspension test, because this is the one place that I don't know how good we're really going to be. We are a little bit low to the ground. Also, just the rear of this thing. Maybe I could have done a better job on that, but that's fine. Everyone just look at this tank from the front and don't worry about it. And let's see. Can we even do this? Because I feel like our idler's too low. Yeah, no, that's good enough. It's a little bit of a slam for the crew inside, but I'm sure they'll be okay. They're dealing with black holes being generated inside of their tank every single time they're firing, so yeah, they've probably dealt with worse. So, do you like this thing? Do you want to see more stuff equipped with a railgun cannon? Do you want to see some other things? Let me know. Let me know what you want to see in the comment section below. And if you want to download the tank files for this, you can join my Discord, which has a link in the description below. And if I haven't remembered to post it there, join in everybody who will already be pinging me, because it's a ritual at this point that you guys do that, which is good. You keep me in check. So That's a pretty good view there with the burning tank in the background. I like that that's focused also on the burning tank and not the one that's right in view. But sure, we'll go with that. But yep, that's about all for now. We should be getting our first scenario soon-ish in Sprocket. I think that's what they're working on at the moment. I don't know why I said they. It's just Hamish still. That's probably what Hamish is working on right now. So fingers crossed, development has been pretty quick lately. We shouldn't be waiting too long to actually be able to do scenarios again, which I genuinely cannot wait for. So if you enjoyed this one, please leave a like, comment, and or subscribe, and I will see you in the future for more stuff just like this. Bye-bye! And as always, a huge thank you to the YouTube super supporters Marlon Gwecken, Cruiser25, Cody Fox, Peter Holmes, Peter Seifert, CamJam135, Shtug3, and Terra. Thank you so much for your support, and a huge thank you to all of the regular level supporters as well.